started collecting these when we were very, very young. My wife complained I was spending money buying other stuff and not buying her something. Well, since I only had $10 to spend when the kids were little, I would go to the 25-cent box and 5-cent box and buy her a bottle. And I would take the other $9 for me to buy my rare stuff that I collected. And after the years went by, I couldn't find nothing to buy, and I got enthused with the collection until I started buying more expensive stuff. And we did this for lots and lots of years. We have rare stuff and we have common. I like to display the thing that most people don't. I like to things that are very unusual. I like to display ketchup bottles and little things that most people never display of the turn of the century. And my wife found these. She gets us. We've been we've been at it a very, very long time. And we have some rare stuff and we have some common. It's just what we like, and if nobody else likes it, we don't care. These two bottles are, everybody tells me, are the two rarest of California. One is a whiskey and one is a bitters. They're very desirable, and we have both. These jugs are Eastern, and what makes them really rare is the color, and I understand that it's only 4 different colors. I could be wrong, it could be another color that I've never seen. But I collect what I see, and I try real hard to fill a set out. These are the footballs of the Bay Area, and they're very desirable, but they're a football. One is San Francisco, one is San Francisco and Oakland. They're very desirable, and everybody would like to have one. These are Jimmy John's, and I don't know a lot about them. I buy them strictly for the shape and size, and this is all I've ever seen to buy. And we buy them for the color and how old they are. They're very old, but a lot of them have seals on them, and a seal bottle is very hard to find in a sample. These are 3 beautiful bottles from the Midwest or East, and we collect them for color. Right this second, I remember exactly what come in them, but they're very beautiful. They're not rare, but they're very beautiful, and that's why we got them to display. Okay. This is a miniature cod liver oil fish little miniature bottle. And you do not see it very often. For one reason, it's so small. When we dug in the early days, we never could find it. That's why it's very unusual, but it was so little, we just didn't sift enough when we were digging. These are all Western beers, and everyone has a name on them. I don't want to go through all of them, but probably the rarest of the set, or I think the rarest is probably the Oakland. Oakland is the hardest one to find. LA is pretty hard to find too, and it's just the beer collectors. These are very desirable for beer collectors. The one that I think is the rarest is the Oakland, and it's on the far left of the picture. The LA beer is very desirable, but LA grew so fast that where the good old stuff was at, it got buried by houses. And the LA beer, I have 2. I have one with a paper label, and I have one without a paper label. And it was so desirable, but the ground got covered up with blacktop. They were really hard to find. These are 3 different samples of the ketchup bottles of the country. A lot of people never show a ketchup bottle, but it's only a 50-cent bottle. When I started, it was a 5-cent bottle. Now you can buy a ketchup bottle maybe for $5 at the most. But the old stuff is very hard to show, and nobody shows it. And I think you should show the common with the rare. You should show what people started with. I started with those, and I was so happy to get one of those when I first started. It thrilled me to death. Now I collect a little more stuff, cost a little bit more money, but I still get thrilled with my ketchup bottles.